Hey, what is going on, guys? I've got another Team Fortress 2 gameplay commentary for you today, and today we're going to be playing some Spy. As always, my favourite class in Team Fortress 2, and we're going to be playing on my favourite map, well, not my favourite map, but one of my favourite maps, PL Upward, and I'll be playing Defence, and I prefer Defence to Offence because I just find it easier as a Spy, even though Spy isn't necessarily or strictly a defensive or offensive class. I still find that Spy is very good on defense, as he can get behind the lines, he can do some spawn harassment and all that kind of good stuff. So I'll be playing with my usual favourite loadout, which is the Deadringer, the stock Spy knife and the Ambassador, so I can get lots of feigns, lots of stabs and hopefully some headshots. I actually don't think I get many headshots in this game, but the name, I'm not sure what the title of the video is, but it's something to do with maybe the Deadringer or high scoring, I'm not sure yet. But this video I'm going to be talking about a range of things really, and one of the things is why the Deadringer is a hated weapon. And recently I've been getting, I wouldn't say abuse, but a lot of hate from some people saying that I upload pure Deadringer videos and that I should upload some of the other watches, and I have since been making a lot more watch videos. You may have seen them, you may have not. Check them out on my channel. But I've been doing Cloak and Dagger, Invisiwatch, and I'm still working on more watches because I know the diversity is something that needs to be shown in TF2, because TF2 is a very diverse game. So what I basically got told to me was that my gameplay style is boring to watch, and it was one of my subscribers that said that all I do is walk at the enemy without any consequences, and I wanted to explain this, how this is wrong, and how the Deadringer is a lot more in depth than you think really. So the reason he was saying this is because he didn't like the Deadringer personally, and if you don't like the Deadringer personally, you're not going to think about it too much. So I said, if you think about the Deadringer just as the same way as an Invisiwatch, think about how in depth it can be, you'll realise that it's actually just as complex, just as difficult a weapon to use as the Invisible Watch. The reason that people hate the Deadringer, in my opinion, is because it's kind of what I would call a harassment weapon. So let's say an harassment weapon is the Scorch Shot or the Flare Gun. You, as a pyro, you can set enemies on fire from all the way across the map and do some crowd control. That's classed as harassment. The Deadringer is kind of the same. You can go in very close, very aggressive, and be a great big distraction and cause a lot of harassment. So that's one of the reasons why the Deadringer is a hated weapon. The second reason is people think it's OP. This really ranges whoever thinks it's OP or not. In my opinion, people that think the Deadringer is OP are people that don't know how to combat the Deadringer. And basically, the Deadringer is actually, it has a lot of flaws. If you just straight up compare it to the Invisiwatch, you'll see the flaws, such as, you can't go invisible. Once you decloak, that loud sound leaves you with your pants down and you're stuck basically, and it's up to you to improvise, to dodge, to strafe, to land your Ambassador headshots, and it really does pressure you into performing. And that's why I like the watch, because it really does pressure you into doing well, because when haven't got that cloak and you're in trouble, that's when your instincts kick in, and that's when you can prove whether you're a good player or not. So yeah, people think it's OP, and the only reason I think that people think it is OP is because they don't know how to combat it, and it's actually a very easy weapon to combat. And I've heard them, when people say Deadringer is OP in a lobby, other people say that it's not OP, it's just annoying. So, with the Deadringer, it's actually fairly easy to predict where someone is going to go once they have been feigned. And it's very easy to find them, to track them down. So, say if you go in maybe a TF2 lobby game or a competitive level game and you use your Deadringer, when they know it's a Deadringer, what they will do is they will follow you to the ammo pack that you're going to refill your Deadringer. Then when you decloak, you're left with your pants down, you're stuck, and you will die. This doesn't really happen in pubs, and I think it's just because in pubs people don't have that level of commitment to one player, and they don't sometimes think that it's their job to spy check. If they think that pyro is the only class that can spy check, where a rocket jumping soldier can catch up to a Deadringer spy incredibly quickly. You'd be surprised how ineffective the Deadringer is against a soldier. One rocket to feign, one rocket jump to the ammo pack, and then let's say another one rocket to finish you off, you know. That's not even a full magazine of rockets, so learn how to combat the Deadringer. This isn't going to be a tutorial on how to combat the Deadringer, but if you think it's OP, it's definitely not. You just need to learn how to combat it. So basically, people hate the Deadringer because the next reason is because it's incredibly effective in the right hands, and you know this can be said for any weapon in TF2, but specifically the Deadringer, because this is the topic of the video. It's the Deadringer, so the rocket launcher is incredibly effective in the right hands. So is the Deadringer. So is a lot of weapons, but there's a few weapons that stand out a little bit more than others, I would say. Let's say something like a Wrangler or a Mini Sentry in the right hands can hold back an entire team. I'm trying to think of more weapons that are really good for crowd control, but you know what they are. They're very good. They're very good weapons, and you will know like a sticky bomb launcher. That in the right hands is one of the most powerful weapons in Team Fortress 2. So you've just really got to learn how to use the Deadringer, and in my opinion, one way to combat the Deadringer the best is actually use it yourself, because I play a lot of Spy, and when I don't play Spy, I don't get backstabbed a lot, and the reason is because I play a lot of Spy, and say if a Spy is using a Deadringer, I would put myself in their shoes, know what they're going to do, and that's how I combat it. So if you're having trouble beating a certain class or a certain weapon, play that class. You'll be surprised how quickly you can pick it up and soon start to combat it with the other classes. That's why it's always good not just to stick with one class, but to play all classes a range of times, a range of different maps, and etc, etc, because you want to be effective in as many situations as possible. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about how to use the Deadringer kind of effectively. So as you can see here, in this part of the map, I am using the Deadringer, wow, that is a great description. How many minutes? 7 minutes into the gameplay. If you haven't noticed, I'm using the Deadringer. But basically, I'm using the Deadringer, and what I am doing is I am not pushing myself too much. The Deadringer, as I said, it's not OP. You're not invincible with this weapon, and you know, probably a bad time for it to be an example, as I straight away die for a pyro. But if you notice, I'm always kind of in the vicinity of health, of ammo, and of my teammates. Those are the three things that you want to be near with the Deadringer. Health is incredibly important, ammo incredibly important because you want to get that feign back up, and teammates, because the teammates are the ones that are going to back you up when you're in trouble, when your feigns run out and you're running away. So the max, if you see here, this is the maximum that I will overextend to, this little wooden bridge. I rarely go further than this, but this, like I said, it's a very bad example at this time because I'm not doing very well at the moment. But yeah, this rafter place is actually a great place for me, I find, because it's below your teammates, it's below the enemy, there's health, there's ammo, and there's a lot of drop down spots, there's a lot of tricky little situations, and as you'll see very soon, I'll do a very tricky move here. Just watch this. I never really try trick stabs, but when I do, something like this happens.
Sunlight hurts my eyes.
That was your dubstep remix right there. Hope you enjoyed that, and that's enough fun for one day. So, basically, what will happen is I will stay in the vicinity of my area. So this wooden rafter place, great place, I would advise using it. Although when you're up on the top, you're very exposed. Like, I keep saying this because it's a very bad example, but you are very exposed. But I am always near my teammates, and I can switch my roles as a spy very quickly in this area. So if I want to be a pistol spy, all I have to do is pull back just a little bit, and I'm with my teammates so I can shoot with them. But then again, if I want to do some crowd control, reduce the enemies, then I will be able to do that with my knife and just go behind them and, you know, carry on, etc, etc. So what I will do then is I will just I'm just going to be below them, and like I said, I never extend over this point here, so Although I do chase down the odd enemy, and I do have the odd silly death here because I can get a little bit cocky sometimes, especially after I pull off a trick stab. I sometimes feel a little bit more cocky, but I shouldn't really. And so yeah, I keep saying this, but this area is probably a great area, and people referring back to the original topic of why people hate the Deadringer. I think there was an example in this gameplay where after the gameplay I was talking to someone on the enemy team, and he said that I was a good spy, and I said thank you, and he said, but you abuse the Deadringer. And I said, how do I abuse it? I've only played one game against you with the Deadringer. And he said, well, I killed you 4 times in one life, and then you killed me. So that's kind of an example of why it can be incredibly annoying, because if I was that person and I had feigned someone 4 times and then get killed in the end, I would be very frustrated, you know. I think he did actually send a hateful message in the heat of the moment. But one thing to note with this wooden rafter area is it's very difficult on the pyro side of things, because although you've got the sneaky drop downs to evade them, there's also the air blast that can knock you off the cliff incredibly fast, and you're also trapped in some sort of areas. Like this area is very narrow. Luckily the pyro didn't actually chase me, and I think I end up this jump here. I don't actually show it, but there's actually a jump where you're on these steps and you can jump up to a higher level towards the car. It's incredibly quick and not many people know it. Use that spot. You'll be surprised how well it can. Wow, I nearly fell off the edge there, but you'll be surprised how good it can do you. But this gameplay, it goes on for a very long time, and I do get a lot of points in this gameplay. And one of the reasons I get a lot of points is because of my consistency as spy. And one of the things with spies, you want to be consistent, you want to be active, and you also want to just be a general annoyance, a general nuisance, and a team help, because spy is actually a very team-based class, and if you watch some of the high levels of gameplay, the communication between players in like Highlander, if you watch the spy communicate with their team and strike at the right moments, it's incredibly effective, and it can disable a team. And right here, they just got the car. It was on like quadruple overtime, and this game is actually kind of ridiculous in that sense, because the game does go on for a very, very, very long time, basically. Well, I said very about 3 times in quick succession there, but it goes on for a long time. I think it goes into like quintuple overtime. Is that even the right one? It's single, double, quadruple, then it's something 5, then it's something 6, 7, and I think 8 is quintuple. And the only reason I know that is because of some TV show, some American TV show, which is something like Quintuple Kids, or Help, I've Got Quintuplets, or something like that. Some weird TV show, you know, where they have tons of kids and whatever. So, why am I talking about random American TV baby shows? This is the art of my commentaries, just pure randomness that happens when I'm trying to keep up the flow of conversation. Should be talking about the gameplay. I'm just waiting for my brain to activate right now. It's kind of early in the morning. I never do early morning commentaries, because if you know me in person, I am not a morning person. I just get out of bed and I'm like, I am just 5 more minutes. Just 5 more minutes. I just stay in bed for ages, and I'm just lazy in bed and stuff like that. So, start talking about the commentary, Pazza. Come on. So this is the kind of example here where the guy kills me a lot of times with the Deadringer, and you know, it's these moments when you're in trouble with the Deadringer that your improvisation really kicks in, and it's your spy instincts that kick in. So I think there I actually killed him again, and basically what happens is when you are playing spy and you're in the heated situations and you're getting feigned, you don't really overthink it too much. You're just thinking, and it's just running like clockwork, and your actions are just going. And I got actually pretty annoyed here, not annoyed, but worried here, because every time I'm dying near this car, I'm getting worried, because I'm a spy that likes to be around in the last seconds of the game. Who doesn't, you know? You want to be there, because when you die and you respawn in and you're watching somebody, you're like, oh, if that was me, I could stop this car if I was alive, and you get really twitchy, and you're eager to get back in the game, because when the games are long like this, you feel invested in the game. So I was very I was playing it very safe. I was trying to pull it out my best, because obviously I like to get wins, and especially after a game like this, you've got to, although you might have been doing well in the start of the game, like I said before, to get these high scores you need consistency. So I got to keep the consistency up right until the last seconds of the game, and every time I die like this, it gets worse. You know, I keep thinking that the next time I die, it's going to be, you know, the end of the game, because after seeing that push for the second to last point, I was like, wow, what does this team have in them, you know? And I think one of our teammates said that all the blue team does is last minute pushes, because they never seem to push ever, apart from in the last minute, and last minute pushes are very scary and kind of annoying as well, because there's nothing you can do about them. You play well for the whole game and a last minute push beats you. So I think we've got 15 seconds left in the game, and I do something pretty special here. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not boasting. I'm not saying it's the best thing ever, but I help my team a hell of a lot, and I actually think that not me specifically saved the game, but I did a lot to help save the game, because the blue team, like I said, last minute push, they pull it out. It's on quintuple overtime. Look how many there is. There's Ubers going off. I get 1, 2. I get 3 stabs right here. I go down to 97 health. I uncloak, and then I go down to, you know, another ridiculous amount of health. And I think this medic here knocks me down to 3 health. I unfeign and get the last stab here. The medic actually just fell off a cliff, so that last stab there signals the end of the game. So, thank you for watching this gameplay commentary. Hope you enjoyed it. See you later, guys.